Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Welcome, race fans, to the Hammer Down Racing Report, part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. This is show number 381.
It's hard to believe we've had that much fun, Scott.
It is. Hey, it is working. All right.
Yay.
Sure. Scott Hammer, Ron Miller, coming at you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch from the Dominator Race Products Studio. This is Thursday, June 5th now.
Yeah, it is.
Welcome to June.
Yeah.
I feel like Bob and Doug McKenzie. Take off, man. Tonight on the show, we'll be speaking with 410 sprint car pilot Craig Mintz and late model driver Devin Shiels. And we're going to kind of focus tonight's topic on the cost of racing for racers.
I've got an interesting quote here, too, from Boone Speedway's Bob Lawton, and we'll certainly discuss that, see what the racers think about it. And I'll even let you chime in on it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Probably.
A lot to do tonight. We're going to be giving away a 4-pack of tickets to the big show happening at Toledo Speedway, the All-American Coach Open Wheel Special presented by Monroe Asphalt, featuring the 500 Sprint Car Tour, the Midwest Modified Tour. I saw they were up to 50 cars now.
I thought they were.
That's just for the modifieds.
Yeah, just for the mods, not for the supers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty darn cool.
And they'll have
be a great show.
Late model sportsmen and factory stocks as well. So, yeah. If you want a chance at that 4-pack of tickets, that's 4 tickets. And my pen just blew up. Time to use a different one.
I was going to say, you need to borrow one?
No, this is why I prepared
you
sometimes.
got a stash?
I was a Boy Scout, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So if you want a chance to win that 4-pack of tickets, I don't remember how much, actually I do have it on my prep here, how much general admission tickets are. So this 4-pack would be worth $100. This is a $100 value.
That's
$25 a ticket there. So a $100 value. All you have to do, if you want a chance to win this, you have to be part of our live audience here. So if you're listening to us on the podcast, sorry.
Or you could.
One of the reasons to watch the live broadcast, I mean, it's cool that you listen to us on the podcast. That's awesome.
We like that.
We do like that. You get the polished version of the show. Like last week, we had some technical difficulties with Deb
And they
Dobie.
just somehow disappear.
They somehow disappear in the cleaned up version that's not live. So this is it's a little different. So sometimes it pays to listen to both. You can hear what actually happened and then hear how it was supposed to be. But anyways, back to the 4-pack of tickets for Toledo Speedway this weekend. Hashtag Toledo Speedway is all you need to do to get in the drawing for that. We're not making it difficult for you. Just hashtag Toledo Speedway. Put that in the comments of the Facebook Live or the YouTube Live. Producer Dave's going to collect all of those names that enter that. And then at the end of the show, we'll draw for those tickets. Here's the catch, though. You have to be listening at the end of the show when we draw for the winner. If you do not chime in within, we're only going to give you like 1 or 2 minutes. So if you're not listening, we're going to move on to the next name and spin it again.
And you have to post, I win.
Yes. Yeah. We'll tell you what to do. But pretty easy. I mean, that's worth $100. I think you can handle that.
Yeah.
So especially when we're talking about costs of things.
Yeah.
And then tickets will be at will call for you. So you don't have to pick anything up. Just go right to Toledo Speedway. They'll have your name there. You just tell them you won tickets on the Hammer Down Racing Report, and they'll be like, that's the coolest show ever. Cool. We'll let you in. Here's 4 tickets. Also, we're going to be giving away a Speedy Sponsor sticker. The Speedy Sponsor Driver of the Week this week was Craig Dittman. He picked up his... Craig Dittman, he picked up his second Keyser Memorial feature win on Friday night at Limaland. So hashtag Dittman will get you in the running for one of these Speedy Sponsor stickers if you want one of those. Once again, hashtag Dittman. You don't have to. You can spell it with 2 P's or 1. Either way, Dave will probably know what you're talking about, unless you come up with some really off the wall spelling like MQT.
How about if somebody spells
7?
it? How about if somebody spells it Dittman?
We'll leave that up. That's up to producer Dave's discretion then, whether or not you get on
Dave
the
can figure out P's and T's.
Probably.
Okay.
Let's see. And also, once again, still looking for sponsors for the Oakshade Chris Mize Memorial Hot Dog Race that we're looking to put together for probably August. More details on that forthcoming. But if you want to put up a little money, a little pizza, a little, whatever service, something that you have, a Ron Miller Race Cars gift card, whatever, get a hold of myself or Ron, or shoot us an email, Hammerdown Racing Report at outlook.com. Send us a message on Facebook.
And we're looking at doing 4 of those, correct?
Looking at doing one for each of the classes at Oakshade.
We would like 4 sponsors, or one big sponsor that
covers all 4. Yeah. Or we could have multiple sponsors and have multiple things to give away.
Oh, yeah.
So just a little incentive to get some drivers to participate in the hot dog race. In case you're not familiar with the hot dog race, real quick, Chris Mize, of course, the late Chris Mize, the late great Chris Mize, introduced
our good friend Chris Mize,
introduced us to that at Sandusky Speedway. Talked about it on the show once, and I was like, I got to see this. So I went to Sandusky, and they did one. 2 drivers come out, start from a stop. It's kind of like a spectator drag at first. They come out the start-finish line, go around for a lap, come back to the start-finish line, stop, get out of their car, come up to the wall or whatever area we'll have. They have to eat a whole hot dog and drink a pop, and that'll be provided. And then get back into their cars. They have to get all buckled in, strapped in, everything. They'll have an official there to make sure they're all strapped in before they get released. And then they do another lap around, and whoever finishes that second lap first is your hot dog race winner.
So we will be providing the hot dogs. They don't have to run to the concession stand and buy one and then come back.
I don't know. I kind of like the way you're thinking there. Yeah. Make them run. I like that. Rules will be forthcoming and could be subject to change. Okay. If you're planning your dream wedding or a special event, make it unforgettable with Magic Moment Entertainment. Mention Hammerdown Race Report when you book $100 off your reception DJ service. With over 30 years of experience, Ron Burt will make sure your event is perfect. Magic Moment handles everything from contracts to full liability insurance, giving you peace of mind. Plus, no hidden fees, no charges or mileage or dance floor lighting ever. Serving Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, and Kentucky, Magic Moment specializes in wedding receptions, but also excels in corporate events and mitzvahs. They take pride in working closely with couples and clients to create magical moments tailored just for you. Call 419-594-2261 or find Magic Moment Entertainment on Facebook under Magic Moment Entertainment or Ohio Sports Splits. Talk about Ron Miller Race Cars for
talk about Ron Miller Race Cars. I was going to talk about Magic Moments there for a second. I don't want don't want you to think that that Ron's an old guy and isn't going to be any fun, because even though he's been doing this for 30 years, he started when he was 12. So he is very good at what he does, and look him up.
Okay. And what about Ron Miller Race Cars, the other Ron?
Ron Miller Race Cars, yep. They finally got done with the drag car. We've got room in the shop, and that's a frightening thing. And we've been crazy busy, just like most of the race shops. So, yep.
And how can people get a hold of you?
At 734-856-7223. Ron Miller Race Cars on Facebook, or my personal cell phone, 419-279-0100. They all work, and they'll all get a hold of me.
All right, then. Sorry, I'm doing a little producer work. I also have to mention Oakshade Raceway, Dominator Race Products, Ron Miller Race Cars. Somehow I just
turned your volume.
I
unmuted yourself.
I don't know what's going on now. I hit something wrong. Magic Moment Entertainment, Dipman Motorsports, DCR Graphics, freeze frame photos. See, that would be part of one of the things that get cut out of the.
Then we don't have to do that.
Yeah, and now it won't stop. There we go. My phone's going crazy. How about we do our racing roundup here real quick? Do you want to do the racing roundup for me? Can you handle that if I hand that to you?
I don't know.
I think you can. Let's give her a try here.
Racing roundup.
Starting toward the bottom there with Palmyra there. All the racing action from this past
Speedway on Friday night. Dustin Rooser Thompson, Little Pups, Ryan Pelletier, Predator Kids. Oh, here we go. Massey Keene, Kids Senior.
It's not as easy as it looks, is
Virgil
it?
Cousineau, Predator Lights. Don Parton again in Predator Heavy, and Keegan Schroyer again in the Open Division. Lima Land Motorsports Park, Friday, Braden Clark, Boss Great Lakes Super Sprints, Great Lake Traditional Sprints. Dalton Lane won the UMP Modifieds, and some guy named Craig Dipman won the Thunder Stocks. Raleigh Hyder, Dirt Track Truck Series. Attica, they were canceled. Rain again, just way too wet. Oakshade Raceway, Devin Shiels.
They got, I think they got qualifying in and everything, and then they got hit by a rain shower.
They sent everybody home.
Yeah.
Yep. Devin Shiels scoring his first win of the year at Oakshade Raceway. The outlaw Jesse Jones in the sportsman class. Jordan Conover making his first trip to Oakshade, won the Super Stocks, and Ryan Oakley won the front wheel drive, and Sebastian Brunneman won the Compact B. And
yeah, there's more.
wait, there's more. Fremont Speedway, Saturday. Brock Hallett, his first win at the AFCS 410 Sprints. Matt Foose, the AFC 305 Sprint winner. And the winner again, Sean Valenti in the Dirt Trucks. Wayne County Saturday was canceled due to wet grounds. Flat Rock Speedway. Ron Allen won yet another street stock feature. Johnny Rangel won his second street stock feature. Bill Early won the figure eight, and Race Metapedigan won the factory stocks. Butler Speedway, Justin Peak, the Kubota High Limit Sprint Car Race. And I guess that was a real barn burner. Sandusky Speedway, Danny Shirey won the Outlaw Super Series. Dylan Napier won the Pro Compacts. Tom Jess won the factory stocks, and Wayne Uravec Grand Nationals. Oh, and Jeff Smith, can't forget him, won the Warriors. Montpelier Speedway, Ryan Barr won the Boss Non-Wing Sprints. Dylan Loesch won UMP Modifieds. Caleb Hinckley, Street Stock, and Cordell Moore, the Hornets.
I'm done now, so if
You're done?
Yeah. You can keep going if you want.
Okay.
You're doing a fine job.
Kubota High Limit back at the Berg at Lawrenceburg. Friday was canceled due to rain. They were rescheduled for Wednesday, September 17th. Hang on for that one. Tuesday, postponed to Thursday. Okay.
That'd be tonight.
Due to rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Kind of hard to read your...
Now you know why I have problems with it.
Yeah, and you wrote it.
I adjusted it from what I get from producer Dave, but yeah.
Let's get on to our guests.
Well, let's finish this real quick here.
National stuff?
Yeah, we'll get done with this real
All
quick.
right. That's boring.
Wednesday night at Red Cedar Speedway, Rico Abreu was the winner there. World of Outlaw, NOS Energy Drink, Sprint Car Series action, River City Speedway. Friday night, Buddy Kofoid won that.
Yay.
The Rumble at Red River Valley Speedway on Saturday was won by Sheldon Hodenshield. Jackson Motorplex last night, it was Carson Macedo picking up the win there. Flow Racing Night in America last night as well. Bobby Pierce getting the win at Eldora, kind of kicking off the Dream weekend. I saw they're still going tonight. They had a storm roll through just a little bit ago, but the track, last I saw, that was probably about 40 minutes ago, maybe an hour now. Track prep was underway. They were doing the drivers' meeting, so hopefully by the time we're
done around 2 a.m.
Well, by the time we're done, they'll hopefully be starting. The NTT IndyCar Next Series Firestone Detroit Grand Prix this past weekend on Sunday. That was won by Dennis Hogger. The NTT IndyCar Series Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix later that day on Sunday was won by Kyle Kirkwood. NASCAR action this weekend. The everybody at Nashville Super Speedway. Yeah. Roger Carruth picking up the win in the trucks.
That's pretty cool.
On Friday night.
He is a really cool guy. I like him.
Justin Allgaier getting the Xfinity win on Saturday in the Tennessee Lottery 200, and then Cup Series Cracker Barrel 400 on Sunday. That was won by Ryan Blaney.
Pretty dominant finish there, too.
It was an interesting race. Yeah. I think I did take a nap during that just a little bit. And then Hammer Down Army results, not many results coming in. Again, hammerdownracingreport.com. If you do have a Hammer Down Race Report sticker on your car, log on there sometime during the week and post your results. There's a link in there where you can just put your results in. Kurt Dickey put his in. He finished 20th in the Dominator Superstock A-Main at Oakshade, and I didn't put mine in, but I know where I finished. So
8th?
I did, yeah. I matched my number, I guess.
Just in case there was a quiz, I already did my homework on that.
All right, good job. All right, we have Craig Mintz and Devin Shiels standing by. Before we get to them, a couple more bills here to pay. DCR Graphics is your source for high-quality wrapped stickers, die-cast, banners, and more. If you're looking to upgrade your race team's look, DCR Graphics has you covered. They have full wrap starting at just $425. You can also showcase your car in miniature form. I've seen some cool 50th season Oakshade cars, late model miniatures that look pretty sweet. I'm not sure what's going to be happening with those, but you can, if you're a racer or you have a race team yourself, you can get some of your own car in miniature form, kind of like our little one up there on the TV behind the Mark Martin.
He's drafting.
That was, I think that's his ASA car. Yeah,
it looks like it.
Something like that. Anyway, you can get those, 8 of them, 8 custom die-casts for only $130 plus shipping. It's available for late models, sprints, modifieds, and street or super stocks. And now DCR has even more ways to show off your style. You can check out their brand new lineup of crew shirts, T-shirts, hoodies, hats, flags, and more. Hit up DCRgraphics.com. New site just launched last week. Or you can call 419-308-9523 and place your order today. DCR Graphics, or Speed Meet style. I think you can even get some Hammer Down Racing Report apparel from there, like Ron is sporting there. Also, Dittman Motorsports, your one-stop race shop in Northwest Ohio, offering on-site parts services at Fremont Speedway and Oakshade Raceway. I guess he got a flat tire on the way to Oakshade and was a little bit late. Yeah, I was a little concerned. It's like, I might need some parts, and Craig's not here. He showed up, though. Dittman Motorsports provides Hoosier Racing tires, high-performance parts, and full-service support to keep you on the track and in the lead. He'll also support you if you're not in the lead. Featuring the new late model right rear number 2 tires, along with super stock, modified, and sportsman tires. Whether you need expert service or top-tier gear, Dittman's got you covered. Call 419-283-8580. Stop by the shop or check them out online at DittmanMotorsports.com. All right, let's bring in our guests. Looks like everybody has gotten connected. Hey, guys. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Oops, so let me get rid of this guy.
Pretty good.
All right, we can hear everybody. We're already doing better than we were last week, so we appreciate that. We got Devin Shiels and Craig Mintz. This all kind of started. We kind of wanted to talk to both of you to kind of get both the dirt late model and the sprint side of things as far as the cost of racing. Because Craig, you had made a post.
I saw that too, and
a little over a week ago, I guess, kind of laying out or breaking down. It was a very informative post. The costs of racing once the World of Outlaws came to town, and you ran with them, which I'd like to kind of compare, that cost versus running a regular weekly show cost as well. I guess starting off, I ask both of you guys, do you guys consider, as the costs continue to rise in racing, do you consider this more of a business or a hobby, or yes?
Go ahead, Craig.
I mean, you got to treat it as a business, because if you don't, you're never gonna survive over the longer haul. To sit here and say that we make money every year is false. I mean, you have your good years, you have your bad years, and to sit here and to be able to answer that question, you could ask me every year, and I'll be like, yeah, that was an expensive hobby year, or yeah, that was a business, and we broke even, or we're to the plus side, and you can make numbers read how you want to read. If you don't want to have an engine build at the end of the year and you want to put it on the next year, by year to year by the bank and those kinds of numbers, yeah, you can make it work. But in the end, you have to have a phenomenal season locally, to really, come out at the end at a break even or out of the red.
So what about you, Devin? What do you kind of?
We pretty much keep it as a hobby. Yeah, I understand what he's saying with because it's a lose-lose every time you get in a race car. We just try to limit our spending as much as possible all year long. The engine bills are what takes you out.
Okay.
Because they're expensive to rebuild them.
Let me ask you this. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
At the end of the year, I know, Craig, you were kind of mentioning this. You say some years you come out ahead. Do you expect to come out ahead at the end? And considering everything that goes on in a season, expenses maybe you're not sure about, motor expenses, do you guys actually, has there been seasons where you guys have actually come out and actually made money off of racing?
Well, I don't think I've ever really went forward and said, man, I made a boatload of money this year. I may have, not necessarily had an engine rebuild at the end of the season, and I may have had a sponsor kick in some money at the end of the season, and then we won, the Attica Sprint title, which is another 10 grand, and then added, a couple things. Now, I think you could say that have I had years in the plus? Yes. But with the way it's treated as a business, you can't continually show a loss. It just doesn't work that way. Now, that takes a different level to it, but, there are more years in the red, than there are in the green. I can tell you that.
What about you, Devin?
Yeah. We've never made money, but there's some years that kind of takes the sting out of it. When we won Attica and Oakshade together championships, that pretty much paid for our engine bill. And then you got to finish in the top three to keep it going consistently, or else you're putting money in.
There's something else I want to throw out here, and I just read an article in Speedway Illustrated magazine, Boone Speedway's Bob Lawton, and I respect the man. He's done an awful lot for racing. The worst thing a local promoter can do for local racing is to raise the purse. Racers will disagree, but you have to spend between $4 and $6 to make a buck. He claims to have numbers to prove it. It doesn't matter if it's a street stock or NASCAR. The quickest way to break a racer for a local racer is to give him more money. What do you think?
That makes my head hurt.
I don't think that's true, but
but if
it would help the parts business guys, because if they're giving you more money, we're spending more money.
Well, and I think that's what his point was. You're going to spend between $4 and $6 to make $1. So at the end of the day, if you're making more, you're going to spend a lot more.
So basically what you're saying, higher purses are kind of the cause of higher people
more expensive
more.
racing.
Okay.
What do you think, Craig? Does it make your head hurt?
Yeah, I get his point. He's looking at it at a promoter's aspect of it, and I get it. As if you're looking at a business, because eventually someday I want to own a racetrack, and you look at some of the times that, they throw, promoters may throw more money to it. They don't get any more cars to show up anyway. So why would you throw more money at it if nobody's going to show up, when you're doing that? But my big deal is on if I, and again, none of, my posts, and I posted in there that I have no knock against any racetrack that I race at or anywhere across the country or even any series to be that matter. But my problem is when you have a $14,000 to win show and it pays $2,000 for second.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Those are known as Dolly Parton purses.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I'm not a hand me a trophy award person or the participation trophy award with my kids or anything in that matter. But the big thing is we're trying to get racing to survive, and you got, the top half heavies, and it's going down, and you may have, and I give it for Port Royal, the instance the other night, I think it was 100 grand to win, it was 25,000 for second and like 15,000 for third. That's phenomenal. Because you still have to reward the winner. I'm not saying not to, but when we have a 10,000, 8,000, 6,000 to win, but we're paying 300 to start, it's starting to become, maybe is it an idea that I would rather see we run for 3,000 to win, and now maybe another $100 from mid pack, because we had the same conversation when I pushed out for the feature at Attica. It paid $1,200 to finish, whether I finished 26th or 14th. So what am I doing back there, risking my equipment and the team stuff to advance 5, 6, 7 spots when you don't get paid anymore to do it, or whether it may be a $50 more? So the promoter's right. Yeah, if we just give them more money, it creates more. We're just going to keep buying more things. But I also believe we can police ourselves with promoters placing rules that allow and limit spending.
There we go. We've talked about that 2 or 3 times in the last year on our show here, and it's a matter of the inmates running the asylum. The racers are really the ones that make the rules because they keep pushing the limits, and then the sanctioning bodies say, "Well, I guess that's what we'll make the rules."
Just let's kind of give some people some background here. Just because I'm assuming there's a lot of people that may not know how much you guys actually spend on a particular night just to go out and race, because as Craig, you broke it down, there's a lot of expenses that people probably don't think of. But I'd like to hear from both of you guys as far as how much it costs you to leave, go to the track, and then get home.
What's it cost you to show up?
To show up for a regular show, and then for like the World of Outlaw show, and maybe for you, Devin, a regular show, and maybe if you were going to go down and run the Dream or something.
Or an Ironman race.
Or even the Ironman series, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Devin.
Yeah, to unload each night, it's probably about, and this is not adding everything into it, it's about $500 for a regular night if you're 40 minutes away from a track. That's counting pit passes, fuel for the race car, fuel for the truck. And that doesn't include tires. That doesn't include body work or wrecking, or like if you keep the car clean, that does help. Because I try to keep the car as clean as possible when I bring it home. It's just wash it and maintenance, and but there's a lot of extra factors in there that go into it, but it's spread over multiple races. But yeah, I like the start money going up, because that's what every racer looks at, the start money. That's how they determine whether to go or not. Like ALMS, they have a really good purse. Their Ironman is a good purse, but when you got to go all the way to Kentucky, it's 6-hour drive. You're putting in $500 right off the get into just the truck. So, and it's our fault because we buying a bigger vehicle, bigger truck, bigger trailer. It's all 2 cars.
That's because of the purses went up. That's why, according to Ron, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's more me because I've got 2 cars for my son and me. And I look at it as cars in 2024 were right around $20,000 for a late model. Shock packages have gone up. Now they're right around 50. So, I mean, but you look at a 2500 HD Chevy pickup in 2004 was like 20,000. Now they're 60 to 70. So, I mean, it's not just racing. It's almost across the board, everything. And we are our own worst enemy because we want to, like last year, I struggled. We had a bad year. The last 2 cars we've gotten have not matched me or weren't as good as our older equipment. And that was more disheartening for us because we were expecting, you're buying a new vehicle, you're going to be better. But no, it went backwards. This year we've purchased another car and it's been good since we unloaded it. And it makes you spend that money.
What about you, Craig? A typical night for you guys?
I mean, I broke it down the other night. For an outlaw show that night, it was $3,000 to drop the door. But that includes tires, pit passes, fuel. And like I said, we had to run the safety bottles, so I had to have that recertified. And again, I don't, for that, I had to have that. There's no, I can't not have that, right? So, for me to compete, and that was to take the green in the heats and go that route, it was $3,000. Now, my pit passes are a little higher because I take my family. Again, I bring 4 just with that, right? And then I pay for my 3 guys on my team. And so it adds up pretty quickly when you're talking $45-$50 a pit pass. So, but again, we have it broke down is that's broke down in engines and everything. So, I take my engine rebuild at the end of the year and divide it by how many races and that we project that we get out of it. And we go from there. Now, local nights, you can get by without having tire bills because we can run, a used tire, and be able to compete. When you run with World of Outlaws, if you don't have a new right rear tire on, it's a big disadvantage. So there's another aspect of it. So again, you're anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000 on a good night, and that doesn't include, when you're starting to talk about insurance for the shop and insurance for, maybe equipment and those kinds of insurance. And then you're talking about.
Hold on a second, Craig. We're starting to lose your audio here. Let me try and reset you just a second.
Don't go away.
Let's see if we can bring him back here. All right, let's see if we can hear you. Not sure. I see your mouth moving, but I couldn't. Uh-oh. You just disconnected. He's going to try and reconnect.
I think he's got a bad connection.
Yeah. Well, Devin, we'll continue with you until we get him back.
Those sprint cars, they burn those tires right off, don't they?
Yeah. How often? I mean, how many nights use on tires can you get with the dirt late model?
Attica, I'm getting quite a few nights on that new dirt is pretty good on tire wear. We've been running we could run probably 2-3 weeks on tires, at least on the right rear. At Attica, if you just ran Attica. Now, when we go to Oakshade, it's a little harder on tires. We've went through 2 right rears so far.
In 2 nights?
Well, we went through. They got used at Attica too, so I mean, we went through a tire at least once at Oakshade. Now, if you have a track like Crystal, we burn all 4 tires off the car. They were going flat by the time we got back to the trailer because it rubbered up, and
right.
I think we finished 4th and got, I think it was right around $1,700, and tires are at $240, $250 a tire, and that just eats away at your profit when they're a rubbered up track. But that's Attica. I love the tire wear at Attica because it is like non-existent.
Well, we got Craig. We got you back.
Yeah,
I think so.
Hey.
We can hear you.
Welcome back.
Yeah, and Devin's right. The tire bill. I mean, ours are $340, $350 a tire, and like that right where we run, at Attica, we got to run it all night with the Outlaws, so it's gonna have, 60, 70 laps on it, 60 laps on it, and it's not any good. We won't be able to run it, and I'll give it to our 305 team to run, but that's it. On an average night, we can bolt on a used one. We're getting about 2, maybe 3 nights out of a right rear, but again, we'll cycle them all throughout the night. We may run one in the heat race to start the night, and then we'll put on a new one for the feature, and then that new one may start the night at Fremont or even finish the night. Attica and Fremont, hats off to them, because in the last 2-3 years, I would say the tire wearers went exponentially the right way. We used to be eating tires at Attica. We would go through a right rear and a left rear a night. So you'd be dropping $700 just to compete in the feature. If you ran 10th, you broke even just in tire wear. So they've done a great job getting the tire wear down. Hoosier, I think, is come back and made a little bit better product. That is provided us a better tire that is lasting a little longer. But you're right. There's a lot of things that are in that 3 to 2,500 to 3 grand that aren't included. I mean, like I had mentioned before I broke, the insurances, the heat, the shop, the electrical, the shop, those are not even included into those pricings, which isn't a lot, but you're breaking it down to, if it cost you, $2,000 over the course of the winter to fill the propane tank 4 times, that's going to add up throughout the summer when you break it down per race.
I had I was having a conversation. I forget what race we were talking about, but it was a higher paying show. I don't remember if it was late models or sprints or something else. But some of the higher paying shows, people are skipping that and going to some of the lower paying shows. And my theory was,
because the competition is softer.
That was my theory, is that maybe they're thinking, well, if they're going to pay $20,000 to win here, I don't have a chance because it's going to be all the big guys showing up. So I'm going to go to this other place that's paying a little less, where the big guys probably aren't going to show up. Does that make sense to you guys as well, or?
Yeah, Turbo showed up at Crystal and was running the Ironman and Butler, and
right.
He kind of came in and stole the show.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I know of guys that didn't run the Outlaw show because they didn't want to refill their bottle. I know guys that, didn't want to do the things that needs to be happening. And now when the high limits come around, theoretically, to be on the same level, we have to buy another bleeder system that adds air to the tire. So
right.
It's another expense that I don't want to have. I'm not going to buy it because I'm just going to compete anyway. But at some point, these elite levels are making rules of these mandatory items that, how does a local racer at, let's just say, Races Attica, has to go out and buy a $250 bottle, or has to buy a $500 bottle if they don't have it, $250 to rebuild it, and then has to buy a dirt car membership just to compete, not even to buy a pit pass. That's just to show up. So you're already $300, $400 into it just to be in the same, to be deemed legal.
That's just
right.
The membership is just for the privilege so you have the privilege of buying a pit pass.
Basically, I mean, I think it includes some insurance thing that, it for me, I whatever, you pay for it anyway, but just those kinds of things, and they're, again, little things, they just add up. And it gets to the point to when are we gonna, we can't serve. I can tell you a lot of local teams we're on our last leg, and we can't survive much longer at this aspect, at the spending rate we're doing. If you looked at a graph, the spending rate's going up, the income is staying. It is going up. I think that the income is, over the last decade, is going up, but the cost of the racing is going up faster than the income is coming in. And I don't blame the promoters because, their cost of running a track is going up. So ultimately, what is the answer? I have the answers, but a lot of people don't want to hear it. I want
to hear it. I want to hear it. Actually, that was my next question. What do you guys think? Is there anything that we can do that can minimize the costs from getting too outrageous?
Engines is about the only thing you could do.
Yeah, engines.
The engines are.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're right. We both agree. Engines are our nemesis, and I couldn't imagine, the late model end of it. Those engines are completely different than ours. So, and they're much more, to me. I look at a late model and I'm looking at Chinese algebra. I just, it ain't gonna work for me. So yeah, I mean, Devin, go ahead on what you believe that, what you think that where we could cap it.
The only thing you could do is put a restriction on engines, and then you're slowing the cars down. You can't do a claimer because that's just not right.
Right.
Somebody that doesn't put any money in their motor could just come in and steal somebody else's motor. That's not a good thing. That'll lose racers. There's a limit on. I don't even know how you'd limit the size. The problem is all the parts inside the engine have gone up. An engine back in 2004 was $26,000, $28,000 for like a Hatfield motor. Now they're anywhere from 36 to 58 if you want to go super big. We've never spent that on motors, but we've bought either used or by the time you buy a used one, you're either blowing it up or you got to rebuild it right away just to make sure it's good. And a rebuild's anywhere from 12,000 to 15,000, depending on what's bad with the motor or what's good with the motor.
Now, would that be hard to putting some kind of rule or limits on the motors? Would that be hard to police?
Yeah, I think it'd be
definitely
impossible
without having to tear apart the motor.
But the other side of it is, and Devin, with the late models, you'd probably agree that if you unhook the cars, the motor factor would go away. Then how do we unhook a dirt late model? Again, I've said it a dozen times. The term aero push should never be used in the same sentence as a dirt late model.
Yeah, the problem is we've learned too much. That is the biggest problem with late models. They haven't changed since I started as a rookie. They're still 4 bars. They're still the shock package has gone crazy. You could limit no canister shocks or something like that, but then they do a piggyback shock. But I mean, just our knowledge of the cars have made them faster, and the spring smashers that's added to the cost.
Take the aero away.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to do a height rule on your ground effects and all that stuff.
Shorten the nose. Make the body square again. Craig, I don't know. It seems to me that sprint car bodies
go back to something like this for a late model.
Yeah.
That was back when they cheated all the time.
Different than the wedges from the 80s, but
yeah.
Craig, what ideas did you have to try and limit the cost?
Again, I spit from the hip. I mean, I don't think you can do anything with what we've gotten now. I think that we're too far. We're gone. You ain't fixing it, right? You know, and to me, honestly, I think you're gonna have an elite series like you have the Outlaws and the high limit, right? And to me, to be honest with you, and it's not gonna appeal to very many people, they're gonna be on their own and they're gonna be a traveling series and they're gonna go and that's what it is, right? And to me, I feel like they want their own little deal. When their guys show up, they have enough to make a full feature. They get in, they get out, and they go down the road, right? So to me, I feel like we got to do something locally to fix that because they're not getting very many cars to show up to race with them anyway. I mean, they are, but they aren't. And, when was the last time, besides when they go to Pennsylvania, a local has won with an Outlaw or high limit? I mean, I couldn't tell you the last one. So that makes it even harder. So to me, I would like to see something done like locally with the 410s where we have limits on the amount of tires we can buy a season. I'd like to see where we have, almost a spec class. We used to have that with the 305s at Fremont and Attica, and that has turned into an absolute disaster. I mean, those guys are spending the same amount of money we are on 410 engines. Brand new. They're running, electronic bleeders. They're running wing sliders now. I think it's an absolute travesty that we took an economic, which used to be called the economy eco 305s, and they're not economic anymore. I mean, I own one now, and I'm starting to see that the cost of that is just crazy. So right there, that was a start. Is the engines there again? I think they're too far gone, but we can take these where we can eliminate the cost of the car. The engine is a whole nother scenario. I still don't think you can do much of the engine, and we go down that route. And I seen one of the messages below by, Mr. Miner was talking about the bottle for the safety device, right? And he talks about it should be new. The problem that I have with that is it's proven that it doesn't work.
Where'd we go, kids?
Wait, we disappeared again. Hold on, I think everybody's still here. Let me bring everybody back.
There we go.
That was us this time, I think, not you guys. Sorry about that. But anyways, you were talking about the bottle,
the fire safety bottle. I'm all about helping and wanting it to be a product that works. I know that there are some that do work. I know Jimmy McCune with the Bulldog part of it. He sells one that's phenomenal. but we've made rules that, like, again, Carson's car flipped at Knoxville. It fell out and exploded when his car was on fire. So we've proven that didn't work. We've watched it explode multiple times while we're racing. And it hasn't done what I think it was intended to do, but yet it's mandatory. And I go back to the racing tethers that we run. We're restricted to a certain brand of a certain manufacturer. When, to be honest with you, it's Rural King rope wrapped in it's nothing special. So that part of it becomes a process, and my race team and another race team ran with a specific higher limit, and it wasn't the high limit or any of the other ones. We ran a safetied thing where we bolted our tail tank with a specific device to the frame. So when it would, like what happened at Eldora a couple years ago, where the fuel tank flew off and up into the catch fence, we tried to prevent that by building something to hold it on. We were told to take it off because it wasn't approved. So the thought of this is that we're trying to make it safe is redundant, because we're making rules that it has to be a specific brand and a specific title of a specific things. But when the racers go try to do something on their own, by making it safer, we're deemed to be a bunch of hillbillies with some torches. That's not, where I look at it. So I have a lot of ideas that I would love to sit into a room with a bunch of people that are at different levels to be able to say, well, that wouldn't work. But nobody can sit here and say that, we're not trying, because a bunch of us have ideas on things. But at what point do we all sit down and have this conversation that the promoters are spending more money than they need to be spending on things that they probably shouldn't? The racers are doing the exact same thing, and it happens in a late model group and in the sprint car world, that we all could probably cut expenses tremendously. And what does that do? Bring us car counts. I mean, we used to get 60, 65 cars for World of Outlaw events. We're barely getting 40 now.
Yeah, and what you had mentioned about racing with the World of Outlaws, as a fan, and I'm sure there's a lot of other fans, they like to see the local racers compete against the national guys coming in and seeing how they do, and rooting for their
right, and
local favorites.
That us versus thing, us versus
exactly.
them used to play really well, and now
if you have less locals coming in,
it's just us being field fillers.
I mean,
the bad thing that, go ahead, Devin.
The problem is that when you do an outlaw show, it's $100 entry fee when you get there, and you don't make the show, you get $100 back. So you're basically racing for free whenever you do that. It might be $125 on the late model side, but it's not worth us going and trying, just because you're losing money if you don't make that show.
And then what the other thing that really gripes me recently, as I've seen tracks starting to do this, is they're making them full points for local racetracks. I think that's an absolute travesty, that you're making them show up points, no problem.
I'm guessing that's an effort to try and get the local guys to show up, right?
Which is fine, but find some way of doing it besides throwing a guy under the bus that may run 10th, 9th, or 8th in the points, right? You're now going to force them to show up, and we're going to run a different format than we're used to. We're going to do everything different, but you're going to run full points. I think that's just a travesty that none of us, and no race car driver that I've talked to likes that. But yet they just do it. And none of that gets brought to attention. Now I will give Rich Farmer. Rich Farmer is one of the promoters that I have been a part of, that we sit down every year at the swap meet and have a conversation of what rules we like, what we don't like, how do we change this, right? And in them meetings, do they become heated? Yeah, 100%. But do we get things done? Yeah. And then when we complain the next year about a certain rule or a certain that, he's like, you voted for it, right? I'm 100% of that. And I remember there used to be talks about this dirt committee that's going to happen, right? This track safeties, and there was going to be a board that was going to overlook at all these things. And whatever happened to that? That was never something that I've seen that come to tuition.
Yeah, I thought like maybe 5 years ago, I thought there was like a sprint car committee or something, and then I've just never heard anything about that.
Nope.
That just kind of fizzled away.
Yeah, and again, it could be something simple that group looks at racetracks for different safety reasons. You know, race car drivers and teams are held to the utmost safety things. We have more safety equipment on our stuff that we have to run, but yet I go and I look in some of these racetracks that I see on TV, and I look at them and I'm like, how do they even get by with that? Like, you know, and how is that even remotely safe? But yet we're held to that highest standard. But again, I'm not blaming anybody or throwing under the bus. It just seems like we are going down a path with our eyes closed, hoping for the best. And you got a 1 in 1,000 chance of making it to the bottom of the hill without crashing.
Yeah, I think the local motorsports industry is they're trying different things to. They're trying to hang on, basically, and you know, definitely things you got to take.
The racetracks are caught in the same bind as the racers are because, you know, everything is more expensive, and you know the racers are expecting more money, and it's just a vicious cycle.
Yeah, and
I mean, how's the tires on the late model side? Do you guys have options? Like, I mean, you know, like with us, we have, you know, American Racer that would provide a tire that, you know, many years ago I thought was the better tire, you know, but Hoosier comes in and gives, you know, a boatload of money for, you know, sponsorships and all these other stuff. So they're forced to go that route. Is that something that you guys have that you're, you know, like I've known that we finally had a local track. I don't know if it's Tri-City, but they went to an open tire rule.
We don't have much options for tires. Like Attica, Oakshade, they're the same tires. You pretty much just run a 2, occasionally a 3 on the right rear, which you really don't even need to do that. Especially with Attica, with the wear of the tire at Attica has been great. But you travel up into Michigan, it's American Racers up there, so that pretty much keeps us in Ohio, just not having to have 2 sets of tires. But they've been fighting that tire rule up there for years and years. Before I even started racing, I think they're still fighting it. And half the tracks are Hoosier, half the tracks are American Racers, and none of them get along.
I think,
and it's kind of a shame.
Didn't I-96 just switched over to UMP rules, right?
Yep, I-96 is basically our backup. If anything does with that, with Attica, if they rain out or something early enough, we'd head up there. It's the new tire that just came out is kind of, it's not great. It's not bad. It's just, we're having problems with them spinning on the rim. I know I put my son on one of the used ones of a new style right rear, and we marked it, and it moved about 2 inches on the rim. I don't know if if you went to a harder tire that could slow the cars down and make it more, like Ron was talking, make the car slide a little more. But I never run a new tire. That's my pet peeve, is I can't run a new tire because they're too fresh. I'll break them in slowly and work their way in that way. And then my son's running on bald tires pretty much every week because he's getting whatever I'm done with. I give it to him because it's a money thing. Yeah, he's getting hand-me-downs because it's all about, he's bringing in start money, and we've got to keep cutting the cost, and he's there learning. He can learn on old tires. It's all knowledge things that he's got to figure out, and when he starts getting better, he starts getting newer tires.
Let me ask you guys this. I don't kind of want to move on to just a little bit here. I don't want to beat a dead horse with all the costs and everything, but you know, with all the politics and everything else in it, and I probably already know the answer, but why do you guys continue to do it? For
me, it's fun. It's what I enjoy doing. That's why I call it a hobby, because it's fun just getting in the car and going racing. I do think some of our car counts going down has to do with the side-by-sides coming out. If you go getting a side-by-side, that's just like getting in a dirt late model. If you get a turbo 900, 1000, whatever, you are basically a dirt late model driver, because I got to ride in one and drive one, and it was as close as you could come to being in a race car. And I think more people are doing that. And even those costs are comparable to a late model on some of them. And it's just, people are starting to venture out.
Craig, why do you keep doing it, man?
I mean, I've done it, for 25 years, and I think it's just because I love it, like, you said, but I think it's more of a family thing too. I mean, you do it with my dad. It's something that me and him have always done together, and my kids, my daughter likes it, but doesn't like it. Now my son absolutely loves it. There's not a moment that he's not watching Chase Rodman or Johnny Gibson or any of those, on high, that. And then, with our relationship with Carson Aceto and Cole and those guys that have raced with, myself and our cars and that it's more of that little bit of a thrill and say that we were able to help in certain cases. Now, I think that eventually when I quit and done, my son's going to keep racing. He's a ways away from anything that's going to make that kind of.
Uh-oh.
Well, I think we lost him again.
No, I see his finger. He's still there. You still there, Craig?
I think he can hear us.
We can see you moving. We just can't hear you talk. I think you might have got a call or something. May have want to try and reconnect again? Yeah, he's going to do that. Well, he's doing that, Devin.
Yep.
Let's talk about your season here a little bit. You've at Oakshade, you've led all the laps in the features of the 2 weeks we've had running there. A little less good luck over at Attica, but some strong runs. It looked like you were going to win one, and then something went south there when you had the lead. How are things looking for you for the rest of the season?
I'm pretty excited. I was a little nervous going to Oakshade thinking it was going to be super slick. This new car is great on a heavy track like Attica. It just pivots just right and is very fast. When I went to Butler, I struggled. It was a slicker track. We've been trying to work on stuff to make it better in the slick. And I had no high hopes at going to Oakshade and get there. They had a little bit of moisture in the track. It was a quick track, and we time trialed well. We heat raced. We got out front. And then the feature, we drew. I think it was a 1. Rusty drew a 2. It is hard to pass at Oakshade, so it's narrowed up, but the car has been fast out the gate. And
well, when you start when you start at the front, you don't have to worry about passing too much and let you get the lap traffic.
I felt like I passed quite a bit last week. It wasn't cars I needed to pass, but it was cars I had to pass, and it was close calls on a few of them that I had to sneak by. My dad got a kick out of the one the first week. I threw a slider on my son, and I seen them setting up for the corner going into 3, and I didn't lift going in the corner because I wanted to get him and the guy that he was racing with, and they were too wide, and I snuck by there. I didn't think I was going to be able to catch the car on coming out of 4, and luckily there's a caution came right after that, so it kind of bottled us back up and got us some open track again. But yeah, I asked my son what it was like. He said, all I just heard was motor go by my window, and I didn't even know anybody was there. So it's just like Kyle Moore. He had the same car 2 years ago and last year, and he was just dominating us. I mean, we struggled beating him, and he goes to Wayne County, wins every race. We knew we had to do something, and we made the switch from Rocket, and because Rocket was struggling. You've seen it nationally, and it's crazy because you look at the setup sheets and they're identical. There's no difference between the two setup sheets, and the car shouldn't act that much different being just tubing, but Longhorn's got something figured out that Rocket hasn't got. They're getting closer. They are going in the right direction, but I'm very happy with this Longhorn so far.
Now, what are your plans for the rest of the season? Are you running for the late model Ironman? You running for the Oakshade Attica track championships? What are your goals?
Right now we're gonna pick and choose. I want to go to Attica every Friday. That Lima one's really hurting me because I really want to go to Lima because I think I've only ran there one time, and it was back in 2000s, 2003 or four or something, and I really wanted to get back there. Every time we've tried racing there, it's rained out or lost power or some crazy thing happens. But the Ironman, it's just too far travel for $500 to start. It goes back to the money thing. If you're getting 500 to start, which is what we were getting last year most of the time, we weren't running very well because it was all new tracks to us. And I did most of them in my older 18 car. But it's basically, it was too far, rough on the car. It was tracks that were tight or really big, wide open, hard on the motor. And if you're getting $500 each time you go to something like that, it doesn't make sense to keep doing it. But when they're in our town or close to home, it's worth doing because it's less. Like Butler's an hour from my house, not bad. Attica's got 2 shows. That's 2 hours away for us. So it cost effectively, it's okay for us to do it. And I think there's a $50 entry fee for each car, and it makes it worth it. So I think I'm going to hit Attica, Oakshade when I can, ALMS when I can, and just kind of pick and choose. I think we're going to go up to Crystal again because they're doing a really good job on that track up there. But they run American racers. The only time we're going up there is when they're running Hoosiers. So that saves us from having to buy tires.
Again, business decisions, as Craig had said. Craig, you got to...
I think we lost Craig when we asked if he'd still... why he does it.
Well, he said he loves it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I love it, and it's,
Family.
treated as a business and in my family, and I, I enjoy that. Down the road, I'm probably going to be a car owner, so it's kind of setting it up that eventually when I retire, that's what I'll end up doing with my dad, and it's something that, I'll always cherish.
Now, how would you say your racing's going this year? You got quite a few runner-ups already. What are you looking forward to? What are your plans for the rest of the season here?
I think we got 15 shows left. Ballparkish. We got to run. Speed Week's our big week. That comes next. We're not running it all just because of business and my guys. It's hard to take off, 9 straight days of work, and I don't expect them to, do that. So, we'll run Attica, we'll run Fremont, we'll run Wayne County, Eldora, and I believe Waynesfield are the other ones. We're trying to get to Sharon, but highly unlikely. I doubt we get to Millstream. But we're going to do some of those. Got some bigger shows later in the year. The high limit race at Fremont, the following day would be the Doty. So we got some big shows coming up. We'll do the standard pick and choose when we want to race. It's easier, especially on the family and easier on the pocketbook. When you budget a certain amount of races a year, you got to stick to it. You can't be driving across the country to these places and not expect to get to the end of it and be out of money and out of tires, because nothing worse than getting to the end of September and you need tires, but you have no budget to do it or any money to do it.
So plans for this weekend, Attica, Fremont?
Just Fremont for me. So I got some other things that are going on Friday. Fridays are very difficult for me just to get out of work in time and the office, and there's a lot of aspects to that for me. My guys are great, but it's just mentally I'm not 100% still. I'm still working at 7, 8 o'clock. In my brain, I'm pushing out for hot laps and I'm thinking about what I need to do on Monday. So it's not a detrimental, but those days that I do need a break on Fridays, and it's nothing against Attica, but the Hall of Fame, I've always liked that night at Fremont is this weekend. So it is pretty cool to go and see the guys get inducted that, I've watched race since I was a little guy.
Ron, you're part of that, aren't you?
What's that?
You're part of the Fremont Hall of Fame, or no, Sandusky.
Sandusky,
Hall of
yeah.
Fame. Sorry, my bad. Someday maybe you keep running the truck there. Maybe you'll get there. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out? I'm sure sponsors help offset a lot of the costs involved with your racing.
Yeah, I mean, Real Geese Decoys, that's obviously a big one. I don't know. Those guys have, obviously they do phenomenal with me and being able to help out. I got to thank all my guys, Kistler Racing Products, Kistler Engines. They've been, tremendous. Linder Speed Equipment, the Legion in Bettsville. There's a lot of guys that, have come together, even just Legions that are able to help us get to the racetrack every night. And then, those aspects of just, Chris and his wife, Heather, are amazing on my team. Rich Whitty, who's just recovering, my wife and kids. It's, Devin can make, apply to that it takes a group of people to make these race cars go. And, it comes down to my wife washing race suits, and she doesn't think it may help a lot, but it's a tremendous help that I know that I can get in a clean and safe suit every weekend.
Looks like you're getting ready to do some chauffeuring.
Well, yeah, we drive to Oak Harbor every weekend, and my daughter has a private tumbling class.
Hi.
So
awesome. Well, if you need to get going, we appreciate it.
Nope, we're good.
You're good? Okay. Well, we're almost done anyway.
Sit back here.
Devin, plans for this weekend, Attica and Oakshade?
I'm hoping that our word's not going to stop us again this Friday. We're going to do Attica and then Oakshade, and watch some dream race while we're doing it. Yeah, that's pretty much all we got for this weekend. That's in our area. It's still running.
Right. And what sponsors you need to give a shout out to that are helping you out this year?
Salving Trucking. He's a great sponsor of us. Loves going to the races if he ever has time, because he's running his business, and he goes to more graduation parties than I can imagine. But they're great to have. Magic Fountain Auto Washes are our main sponsor for us. That's our business. And then Emerson Cigar Lounge, they're down to Eldora right now. Elliot is he said we've raced together for so many years, never talked to me until a couple years ago, and always thought I was a jerk because I never talked to him, but I was just shy. And he comes to the races with us all the time, and whenever he can get away, and he's been great help and basically a family friend. So we just throw it on the car, and along with Dirt Nerds podcast. And we got Dundee Products, who's my uncle's shop that just does tubing. Continental Service, John and Jeff Morton, who used to own Racers Connection. They still help us out. He's got my kids' cars at his shop right now, working on an air conditioner unit. They're great to have. Rally's Hamburgers, they're a big sponsor of us. And then just Ty Torag Racing for getting us parts, and Dan Wall's parts, and Ron Miller Race Cars, and used to be Chris Keller at CCR. You just got to name all the race parts because they all help out. They're all. That's the biggest thing. If you're getting into racing, go to one of these parts stores, get information. They will help you out and get you pointed in the right direction. And there's people smarter than me in the race car business, and they are tremendous help and wealth of knowledge.
I just have one last question for you guys before we let you go. Did you have anything else around? If and this is for both you guys, if you could address the fans directly, which this is your platform, you could do so right now. Those that support racing each and every week, what would you say to them? A thank you or what? I guess just what would you say to them? Devin, since we were talking to you, go ahead. I'll let you go first.
Thanks for spending your money at the racetracks. That is, when we did the COVID thing, it wasn't fun at all with no fans in the stands, and you could tell the vibe was down. And to the fans, don't be afraid to come up to the race trailer and talk to people. Drivers are easy to. There's a couple that are bad, but for the most part, just come up, talk to us. It's exciting to see your guys' enthusiasm, and just thank you and keep supporting us. And the ones that hate us, sorry we wrecked your favorite driver. It's not meant to. We're not meant to do it. But yeah, we like you guys cheering us on.
And Craig, what would you say to fans?
Yeah, I'm going to echo that. I mean, honestly, we have a lot of options as group of people now to go spend our hard-earned money on for entertainment, and to choose to come watch us put on a show for you guys is a blessing for us when, you roll out there for the feature and you look up and you see all the fans, or you may be doing the wave lap type thing and you look up and there's a lot of fans. It kind of makes it a lot better. I mean, we've done the COVID thing and it was awful. I was glad we got to race, but without having the interactions, I think that's what a lot of it goes through is when you have that, you got a race car driver in front of you, or you're walking through the pits, or, just say hi. I mean, 99.9% of the time they're going to stop and sign and say hi and do those right things. And continue to do that and thanks for buying t-shirts and stuff. A lot of that goes unnoticed. Many people don't think, well, it's just a t-shirt. Well, it is a big deal to us because, one, it helps our sponsors, have recognition on all these shirts that are going out there. But, we do make a little bit of a profit off of it, which then we turn in and either put on a race car or buy more apparel. So thanks for that, and continue to do what you're doing. And the interactions, like Devin said, is key. Interact with us and have some fun.
I think we need more autograph nights. Some tracks that don't even have them need to do more. I think
Atticus does a good job with theirs. That's the most people. There's a lot of people on those nights.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
they open up the pits, and that's a pretty cool deal. I like that, because there are times we've talked that staying after the races is key, is fun, but when you've been there since 3 or 4 in the afternoon and it's 12:30 or 1 in the morning and you got a race a couple hours away the next night, with all the maintenance, it's hard to stay there, especially when I got a 6-year-old that's wanting to go home.
Well, guys, we appreciate the time tonight. Definitely kind of pulled the curtain back a little bit on the costs associated with racing and why we do it. I mean, I have costs that are not quite as not in the same league as you guys, but all racers, it costs them money. They got to pay the pit passes and the fuel, the food, whatever. So there's a lot of money involved.
Those poor old engines depreciate like crazy.
Too, yeah, but we all do it because it's fun. We love it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Appreciate the time, guys. Devin Shiels, Craig Mintz. Good luck this weekend and for the rest of the season.
We appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll see you guys.
See ya.
There you go. Craig Mintz, Devin Shiels. Was that a productful conversation?
I thought it was very
good.
worthwhile.
I know this was your idea of a topic there, and I kind of threw the Devin Shiels in because I kind of wanted to get a little bit more in there. I think it was interesting, at least. It may have been radio for 2 for Ron and I, but anyway. We got a 4-pack again to give away here for Toledo Speedway for this weekend. Again, hashtag Toledo Speedway. If you haven't done that in the comments yet, we're going to do that drawing here very shortly. It's $100 value for the big open wheel special with the 500 Sprint Car Series and the Midwest Modified Tour with already 50 competitors in that class alone. So again, hashtag Toledo Speedway. We'll be doing that drawing here momentarily. You do have to be listening to win, though. If you do tune out and we draw your name, then we'll move on to the next person who's still listening. We're also going to be giving away a DCR Graphic sponsored Hammer Down Racing Report window sticker coming up, as well as our hashtag Dipman for the Speedy sponsored driver of
the week.
The week, yes. I almost said night. Whatever. Elevate your racing performance with Dominator Race Products, the premier choice for high-quality, durable race car components, from innovative nose pieces and valances to robust fenders and spoilers. Their products are engineered to enhance your vehicle's aerodynamics and durability on the track. Trusted by racers nationwide, Dominator Race Products delivers the reliability and performance you need to dominate the competition. You can get their wheel covers. They ship them out in pizza boxes. So don't eat them when you get them. Visit DominatorRaceProducts.com today to explore the extensive range of products and take your racing to the next level. Or you can also get those products from Ron Miller Race Cars or other reputable race shops as well. And finally here, race fans, well, not finally, we have one more sponsor a little bit later. Race fans, the 50th season of Oakshade Raceway is in full gear, packed with action every Saturday night, featuring dirt car, UMP, late models, DCR Graphics, Sportsman, Dominator Superstocks, and the Compacts, running full shows through the month of August. The Barney Oldfield race coming up just a little over a week and a half from now.
That's pretty crazy.
June 14th, the second biggest race of the year. And then, of course, make sure to mark your calendars for the most electrifying night of the year, the annual the annual birthday race featuring the UMP Dirt Car Summer Nationals, co-sanctioned with the American Late Model Ironman Series. That'll be Saturday, July 12th, and that actually is one of the nights where you can get autographs. Actually, this afternoon they open the pits all day long. I think it's like from 10 o'clock until 4 o'clock, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Feel free. You don't have to buy a pit pass. You can wander the pits, get autographs. A lot of drivers have photos, autograph photos, or other little trinkets that you can get. And you can purchase merchandise as well. Again, that's Saturday, July 12th. Stay in the loop with all the high-octane action. Visit OakshadeRaceway.com. Follow on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest updates. Oakshade Raceway, where the fastest meet to race. I forgot about this. We had a Twitter poll last week. Remember we talked about the intermission times?
Right.
And we put up a poll. I put up a poll for what you thought is what people thought was
the ideal length of
time.
intermission.
Yeah, I put like 3 different options, and I forgot to look at that. There were still 4 hours left when I looked at it earlier this afternoon. There it is. So the options were 0 to 5 minutes. And this came about because of how efficient the show was run at Waynesfield on Memorial Day weekend, where the gentleman that had asked this question did not have a opportunity to take a proper potty break.
Yeah.
So the options were 0 to 5 minutes, 6 to 10 minutes, 11 to 15 minutes, and 16 plus minutes. So basically longer than 16. And surprisingly, 11 to 15 minutes, 71.4%. That was the overwhelming winner.
I think that probably gives everyone an opportunity to buy a hot dog and then make a quick pit stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the part that surprises me, though, we had a tie for just above and below that. So 6 to 10 minutes was at 14.3%, and 16 plus minutes was at 14.3%.
So promoters plan your intermissions.
So people do like a little bit of a break.
Around that 11 to 15 minutes.
And again, that's assuming that Mother Nature is not a factor that particular evening.
Right.
If you're not racing Mother Nature. Just wanted to throw that out there. Let's do a little bit of racing news before we get to, we do have our Hammer Down hotline as well as how many coming up.
Okay.
And our how many question for next week is a chance to win pit pass for Oakshade Raceway.
Ooh.
Yeah, one of our unclaimed prizes. So stick around for that. Right now, let's check out the racing news. Oh, I need my cheat sheet. It's covered under Mark Martin here. Here we go.
Latest racing news.
7-time ASA stock car champion Mike Eddy died last Thursday. He was 72 years old, known for his rivalry with Bob Seneker during the 1970s and 80s. Eddy won 58 ASA national races during his heyday and was both liked and disliked by racing fans for his aggressive driving style. Eddy's son Travis confirmed his dad's death on social media on Thursday. Among Eddy's many crown jewel victories are the Winchester 400, the Redbud 400, the World Crown 300, and the Governor's Cup 300. Eddy won his first ASA championship in 1974, and his seventh came in 1992. Reigning Kubota High Limit Racing Champion and current series leader Brad Sweet was disqualified after Saturday's event at Butler Motor Speedway for not reporting to the scales following the 30-lap feature. The third starting Sweet, who crossed the finish line in third, but bypassed the post-race scales for an apparent flat right rear tire, was credited with a 25th place finish after Saturday's disqualification. So even if you are the owner of the series,
I was going to say, who owns that series?
Still got to play by the rules. So I mean, that's
pretty
cool that they're enforcing the rules there. And the big news coming from this past week: Matt Tifft. I'm sure you've heard about this.
I have.
He is bought, and we kind of saw the rumors swirling around a few weeks prior to this, but officially let the cat out of the bag. He's bought Mansfield Speedway. It's currently a mess. I guess it was most recently a dirt track. Now it's like a dirt track with a bunch of concrete blocks.
Yeah.
It's been trashed pretty bad, but the facility will require extensive work to get up and running, including a nearly 100% rebuild of the racetrack. Fencing has been removed around the track, including the outside and inside walls from the middle of the backstretch to turn 4. The ends of the main grandstand structure were removed back in 2020 and relocated to Shelby High School, the stadium there. The light poles and caution lights were removed back in 2022, and those lights went to Dragway 42. I don't think they're going to give them back.
Nope.
The safer barriers required for NASCAR events were sold, along with the catch fencing to another raceway. Bringing back Mansfield to its former glory will be no small task, but Matt Tifft has the resources to make it happen. Tifft, a former NASCAR Cup Series owner, sold his ownership of a NASCAR Cup Series charter in 2023 to Spire Motorsports. He hopes to have some racing and non-racing events on the 180-acre property starting in 2026.
The most recent photos did show that the main grandstands are still there.
Most of it, yeah. I think one section at the end was gone. But according to Matt Tifft, the plan is to first bring it back as a dirt track, and then long-term, he's going to pave it.
It was a 5/8 mile. It was a
big track,
really big, and it was a fast track. I wonder, with all the improvements that'll have to be made, if he'll maybe shrink the track down a little, or if it's coming back as the 5/8.
And we spoke to Matt Tifft last fall.
Right.
So if you have a chance, check out that episode of the Hammer Down Race.
Maybe he'll talk to us again.
September 13th. I did reach out to him, waiting to hear back from him, so maybe we'll get Matt on here, and we can get all the details straight from his mouth. I didn't want to call him the horse's mouth because that sounds mean.
Right.
But anyway, back to the news here. The 2025, Craig kind of touched on this a little bit, but the 2025 Fremont Speedway Hall of Fame class was announced on Tuesday. This year's inductees are Jeff Babcock, David Harrison, and Steve Sabo in the driver's class. Don Litton and George Fisher in the builder/mechanic class, Howard Huffman and Janet Holbrook in the owner's class, Scott Barman, Mark, and Mickey Tusing are the lifetime contributors class. The ceremony is scheduled for Saturday, June 7th. That's a Saturday at 2 p.m. before racing starts.
Right. I knew Don Litton fairly well. He was the crew chief and car builder for Irish Jim McKeown.
Huh. Okay.
Pretty cool guy.
Echo Park Automotive has purchased the naming rights to Atlanta Motor Speedway. The 66-year-old racetrack, formerly known as Atlanta Motor Speedway, will now be known as Echo Park Speedway. Speedway, which hosts 2 NASCAR Cup Series races annually, will carry the Echo Park brand for the duration of a 7-year, multi-million-dollar agreement. Echo Park Automotive operates 17 locations in 13 markets, including Georgia, Tennessee, and Alabama.
Okay.
So another way to
advertise.
Yeah. Make money, I guess. Yeah. Wouldn't it be weird if a local track around here branded themselves that way? Wasn't there a track somewhere around here that changed their name?
I don't know.
I think I'm thinking of Indianapolis Raceway Park. Weren't they changed to like Lucas Oil Raceway Park or something? I don't know. I'm not fond of the renaming of the track name. It's just weird, but maybe include it in the name. Keep the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Make it Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park or something. I don't know. That's just my opinion. One final sponsor announcement here before we start giving stuff away. Freeze Frame Photos is your go-to for all your racing photo needs, whether it's heart-pounding action shots or those unforgettable victory lane moments. Freeze Frame Photos has you covered, but that's not all. They offer a fantastic range of custom gifts to commemorate your favorite races, including print magnets, can koozies, tumblers, wood plaques, custom slate photos, wind spinners, and buttons, just to name a few. If you want to add a personal touch, it's not a problem. Freeze Frame Photos can customize any photo or gift item with your own text and special graphics, making each uniquely yours. Call Charlie today at 419-407-6994 and let Freeze Frame Photos turn your favorite memories into timeless treasures. Freeze Frame Photos, special moments frozen in time. And now's the time to get photos of especially for drivers.
Right.
But before your car is all beat up at the end of the season. He's got the pictures from the first few weeks of racing. That's when your car looks good. So now's the time to get some pictures too. So you remember what it looks like at the end of the season. Like, I remember when it looked like this.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's let's actually do our we're going to do the speedy sticker and drawing in just a minute, Dave. One last chance, hashtag Dipman. I'll give you just a couple more minutes. If you haven't done that for a chance to win a Speedy sponsor sticker, again, speedysponsors.com, driver sponsors, tracks, series, information there. We encourage drivers and all those to go there and fill out their information. As we mentioned, Craig Dipman, our Speedy sponsor driver of the week this week for winning the Keyser Memorial for the second time.
I wonder if he's sponsored by Dipman Motorsports.
He might be, and I believe Dipman Motorsports and Craig Dipman himself both have a profile on there. Craig under the driver profile, and is there a Ron Miller profile on there yet?
Not yet.
There probably should be.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe a Ron Miller race. I'm sure Ron Miller Race Cars is on there because they're a sponsor of my particular car. And
right.
On my profile, it's on there. So, and more features are coming to that site. I had a computer die, so I'm a little bit behind on that stuff. But anyways, hashtag Dipman if you want to get in on that drawing, which we'll be doing here shortly. Before we get to that, let's do our Hammer Down hotline this week. We got a text in this week, and this one kind of requires a visual to go along with it. Well, I guess it doesn't, because we can explain it. But here's the text we got in the Hammer Down hotline. Again, if you need the number, it's 419-318-3081. Many times we try to kill that thing, it still lives.
People like it,
I guess. Call or text anytime, day or night. Here's the text we received. Which way is the right way to apply the roof number? Let's argue. So with sprint cars, it doesn't matter because it's on the side, the little side wings. They got the wings and also on the tail tanks. So sprint cars, it's a non-issue in sprint cars. But for late models, street stocks, modifieds, cup cars, the orientation is basically what we're looking at. Is the number supposed to be able to be read from the grandstand side of the track, the outside side of the track,
grandstand side,
or from the inside of the track? With NASCAR, I believe they're required to have it on, like this Tootsie's car here is supposed to be facing the inside of the track. I don't remember why. I think maybe the scorers used to be on the inside.
I don't know.
But I can tell you that the reason on local dirt tracks, etc., that the number should be facing the outside of the track is because that's where the scorers typically are,
right? So
up in the tower. There are some tracks with the
from the flag stand point of view.
Correct.
It
from
should
the grandstands, everybody outside the track you can read the number. It's not upside down to you,
right?
So I don't know if there's real argument there. It's kind of mandated by where you're racing.
Yeah.
So you don't really have a choice, but those are the reasons that I know of why it is that way, especially at local tracks where the cars kind of get up close to the wall and before transponders. Oh, you're writing down numbers.
Yeah, it was very important.
We've been watching scores in the tower.
Now a computer and a scoring loop does it.
It's a lot easier, but they still do score by hand just as a backup,
just in case.
But watching them is pretty phenomenal because they're staring and they're writing. They're not looking at what they're writing, and all they're writing down is just numbers in a column for each lap. Right. And it's easier when the cars get up against the wall. You can't see the number on the side, so they have to kind of rely on the roof number.
Correct.
So that is the reason for that. So if you want to argue about which way it goes, feel free to comment. Yeah. Joe Nicolay says, so the tower can see it exactly. Grandstand side, Tom Long says. So there you go. So, that is your Hammer Down Hotline text for tonight. Coming up, we're going to do our How Many and give away a DCR graphics sticker for the Hammer Down Racing Report. Actually, it's a Hammer Down Racing Report sticker courtesy of DCR Graphics, which you can purchase for $5 from DCR. We'll talk about that here in a moment.
Or you can win it here.
You could, yeah. But first, because we're doing so many giveaways, let's do our Speedy Sponsor sticker giveaway for the hashtag Dipman. Dave, whenever you're ready, if you want to spin the wheel for that, we'll get a winner, and then we'll move on to our How Many here. Don't forget, hashtag Toledo Speedway. We'll be doing that drawing here probably about 5 or 10 minutes. And again, you have to be listening to win that.
$100
worth of tickets for Saturday's show at Toledo Speedway. Yeah. And weather's looking pretty good, right? Spoiler alert for
Saturday.
Yeah. All right, here we go. For the Speedy Sponsor sticker. Oh, those are tiny. Oh, is it going to be Tom? Is it going to be James? Looks like James David. He wins a lot.
He does.
James David, congratulations. I will bring that with me to the track because I'm assuming you'll probably be out there this weekend. If not, let me know and we'll send it over with Ron and it can be picked up from Ron Miller Race Cars. But I'll hang on to it. What is today's the 5th, right? Yeah. All right. So we got that out of the way. Let's do how many and give away some more stuff because that's what we do.
How many?
So last week's how many was how many high limit competitors were going to be at Butler on Saturday. Pretty good number. You guessed 36.
Right.
I guessed 35. I was wrong. Do you know the actual number?
I don't.
38.
Ooh.
You were pretty close.
We were close.
Yeah. 38 was the actual number. We did have one correct guess. There were a lot of 37s. I thought we were going to have a big wheel to spin.
Yeah.
And then I saw one guess for 38,
Really?
and that was a Mr. Tom Long.
Really?
So congratulations, Tom Long. You have yourself a Hammer Down Racing Report window sticker courtesy of DCR Graphics. Again, you can these are available for purchase from DCR for just $5. If you have a race car, slap it on your race car, take a picture of it, tag us in the picture, send us a message of the picture of the sticker on your car, and just like that, you'll be part of the Hammer Down Army. And what that means is we'll report where you finish each and every week. As long as you submit your results.
You could even put it on your passenger
You
car.
could, yeah. Put it on your back
just
window.
to be cool.
All your friends will be like, dude,
Ooh,
where do I get
I'm
one
jealous.
of those? DCR Graphics. There you go. So congratulations, Tom Long. We'll send that over with Ron Miller. You'll be able to pick that up from Ron Miller Race Cars, 30 days to pick that up. And this week's how many? And a chance to win. Next week we're gonna give away a pit pass for Oakshade Raceway.
That'll be next week.
That'll be next week. So you could probably use that maybe for the big Barney Oldfield race coming up
Or
that weekend.
Or save it for the birthday
Or you could
race.
save it. It's good for one free pit pass. That's actually courtesy of Hammer Racing, not the show, but my race team.
Oh, okay.
We got these for perfect attendance for last year. So it's good for any one night in 2025. So you don't have to use it next weekend, but you can use it anytime for the end of the season. And for that how many is going to be, and it's actually not a how many this time.
Really?
No, we're going back to the number thing.
Okay.
There's a big race going on this weekend. Devin happened to mention it. You familiar with it?
Well, that would
Thing
be
called the Dream or
the
something?
Dream at
Yeah.
Eldora.
Is it Eldora? Is that where that's at? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the how many this week is the number of the winning dirt late model of the Dream Saturday at Eldora. Or if they get rain delayed, which I don't think they will because the weather looks good.
Right.
Whenever they have the Dream. As long as it's this weekend, so we can give it away next week. So, yeah, who's the winning car number of this year's Dream? And whoever's closest or gets it right, if we have more than one get it right, we'll spin a wheel to determine the winner. Or whoever's closest will get that pit pass for Oakshade Raceway to use throughout the rest of the season. So, Ron, you won. You have to pick first. Do you want me to turn the comments back on so you can see if anybody's guessing yet?
Yeah.
I see if quite a few people they're picking the car that I think I was going to pick.
I'm thinking,
wow.
I'm thinking
It's-
49.
Really?
Yeah.
He had to go to a backup car. You already picked though, so you can't change.
I did.
Although he did, I watched last night the Flow Racing, and he did come from the back of the field. He used a provisional, and
Yeah.
I think he got about halfway up. So Scott Warner's going with you too. He's got 49. Everybody else, Hovis is going with RTJ. That's not a bad pick. He was, he got lapped. Actually, both those guys got lapped last night by the 32, which is the number I'm going to go with, and it seems
Really?
like everybody else is going with. Yeah, I'm going with Bobby Pierce. I don't think he's won the Dream yet. So
No, I don't think so.
no, this could be the first time. If last night was any indication how he's going to do on Saturday, then I think that's a pretty solid choice. But we'll give you till Saturday at 2 p.m.
Yeah,
And we could go even later.
Yeah, because you don't.
Yeah, we'll give you till 5 o'clock. So if you're listening to the podcast, not live or anything, just hit up the video on Facebook or even on YouTube, and just find the comments. You can type in a number, and you'll be entered, and you'll have a chance to win the pit pass, courtesy of Hammer Racing for Oakshade Raceway. So there you go. So you got 49, I got 30. Those are pretty two solid numbers, I think. It'll be interesting to see. I'll have to keep an eye on that on Saturday night. Let's check out our DCR Graphics race menu, and then we're going to draw for those 4 tickets for Toledo Speedway for this weekend.
And remember, you have to type
Toledo Speedway,
and you have to type in
"I win" when we draw your name
within the allotted time.
Yeah, which I'm probably going to give 2 minutes.
Okay.
So let's bust through our DCR Graphics race menu for this weekend, and then we'll do that. So
This weekend's racing menu.
Well, of course, tonight at Eldora Speedway, the 31st Dirt Late Model Dream Week begins officially with Dream Prelim Night number 1. Racing scheduled to have started about a half hour ago, so we're going to hurry up and get out of here so I can go watch some of that. Friday, you got some choices here. A rare Friday night for Flat Rock Speedway.
Right.
Since Toledo's running on Saturday, Flat Rock's going to run on Friday night. That's tomorrow night, June 6th. It's going to be Kids and Scout Night with the Outlaw Super Late Model Street Stocks MCR Dwarf Cars. So those 3 classes. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. General admission's going to be $16 there at Flat Rock. Then at Lima Land is the K&L Ready Mix Clash Ron Cale Jr. Memorial, featuring the Great Lakes Super Sprints, UMP Modifieds, and the Thunder Stocks. Gates open at 5, racing at 7:30. General admission $15 there. Attica Raceway Park, it's Burns Electric, Smith Family Foods, Ohio Contractors Association Mid-Season Championship Night.
Yeah. How can it be mid-season?
That's what I was saying.
Have gotten 2 or 3 shows in.
Not only, I mean, it's a long night title, but it's also mid-season championship night already.
Yeah.
Well, they start in March, so I guess it makes sense. It's going to be AFCS 410 Sprints, UMP Modifieds, and AFCS 305 Sprints. Gates open at 5, racing at 7:45. General admission is $22. Eldora Speedway, night number 2 for the prelims for the Dream. Gates open at 2 p.m., racing at 8. General admission $35 there for Friday night. And then we go to Saturday, Lorraine Raceway Park. They're having an open wheel shootout. The Outlaw 350 Super Modified Series will be in action, along with the Must-See Racing Crate Sprints, TQ Midgets, Modifieds, and Juice Box. Gates open at 2:30, racing at 6 p.m. General admission is $20 there at Lorraine Raceway Park. Eldora Speedway. 31st Dirt Late Model Dream, $100,000 to win. Gates open at noon. Racing will start at 7 p.m. General admission is $50 for that.
Ooh.
And I also believe it'll be on Flow as well.
Right.
So if you can't make it down there. Fremont Speedway, it's Vision Quest Night / Hall of Fame inductions. Again, gates will be opening at 1 p.m. because that Hall of Fame ceremony. What time was it? 2:30? 2 or 2:30?
I thought you said 2.
I think it's at 2, yeah. So gates will open at 1 there at Fremont Speedway. Later on then in the night, it's going to be the AFCS 410 Sprints, AFCS 305 Sprints, and the Dirt Trucks. Racing will start at 7 p.m. General admission $20. Wayne County Speedway, it's a Fast 5 night with the 410 Sprints, Late Models, UMP Modified Super Stocks, and Mini Stocks. Gates open at 3, racing at 7. General admission $20 there. Toledo Speedway, that's what we're going to draw for tickets here shortly. A 4-pack worth of $100. All-American Coach Open Wheel Special featuring the 500 Sprint Tour Sprint Cars, Midwest Modified Tour, Late Model Sportsman, and Factory Stocks. So 4 classes of racing, and you get 4 tickets.
Ooh.
Gates open at 2:30, racing at 7. General admission is $25 if you don't win those tickets, which, again, we'll give away.
And there's 50 pre-entries already
just
for the
in
modified.
the
Just for the modifieds.
Exactly.
Should be an awesome show.
Again, hashtag Toledo Speedway if you haven't done so already. If you did, you're all good. You're in the drawing. Time's running out, though. This is your last chance to get in on that because we're going to do that here very shortly. Oakshade Raceway on Saturday is going to be a full show featuring the UMP Late Models, DCR Graphics, Sportsman, Dominator, Superstocks, and Compacts. Gates open at 4, racing at 7:15. General admission $15. Butler Speedway, Autograph Night, 410 Sprints, UMP Modified, Street Stocks, and Cylinders. Gates open at 4, racing at 7:30. General admission $15 as well right there. And we're going to do our weekend weather pit stop, and then we'll do that drawing for the hashtag Toledo Speedway four tickets for Saturday's open wheel special. How we looking? We're not looking good right now.
No, we're going to see some rain tonight. We're going to see some rain tomorrow, but more likely in the morning, a little less likely in the afternoon. If you're going to be doing any traveling, check the social media to make sure.
So probably mostly Friday night tracks might be affected.
Yeah, Saturday I think is going to be just fine. Unless now some of the tracks have taken an extreme.
I got an inch of water here last night.
Yeah, I understand that out west of where we're at right now, they got 2.5 inches last night. So
that's not promising.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Again, check social media before you head out.
There you go. Brian Nelson wants to know if you're back racing yet.
Not quite. I'm
not because of health issues though.
Yep, I'm ready now. My
truck isn't.
My race truck, not so much.
Gotcha. So let's give away that 4-pack of tickets.
Just for what it's worth, I didn't do it.
To your truck, yes.
Yeah.
For way to throw Steve under the bus. Toledo Speedway, the All-American Coach Open Wheel Special, 500 Sprint Tour, Sprint Cars, Midwest Modified Tour, Late Model Sportsman, Factory Stocks. The racing begins at 7 o'clock on Saturday. Dave, whenever you are ready, I know there's a couple last-minute entries there, so you may be typing those in, but go ahead and bring that wheel up, and let's find out who our winner is. And again, we'll give you a 2-minute clock. So we'll look and see what time it is. You have to be listening. Oh, that was quick. John Young, if you are listening, you have 2 minutes. It's 8:42. It just changed. So you have until 8:44 to chime in here. I win and claim those tickets. Otherwise, we are going to spin the wheel again. So you can go ahead and keep the wheel up there until we hear from John, producer Dave, if you want. And while we wait to see for John to chime in here to claim his tickets, now I think about it, I think he's going to MIS this weekend. I don't think he's going to be around on Saturday, so he may not even be able to use those tickets.
Maybe we should just go ahead and...
Well, wait 2 minutes here. We got. We'll go through the rest of our menu here real quick for the National Series. Napa Auto Parts All-Star Circuit of Champions back in action with the Lynn Paxton EMM.
And John Young did check in.
He did? John, are you actually going to use these tickets? Because they will be in your name at Toledo Speedway on Saturday night. I want to make sure that they actually get used.
Maybe he's just going to MIS on Sunday.
Yes. Well, maybe that could be. Where was I? All-Star Circuit of Champions. They're going to be at Williams Grove Speedway in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, Friday night, and then off to Lincoln Speedway in Pennsylvania on Saturday. World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. They'll be at the Badger State Triple. That's going to be at the Plymouth Dirt Track in Plymouth, Wisconsin. That's Friday night. Then it's the Jim J.B. Boyd Memorial at Beaver Dam Speedway. And Saturday night, Angel Park Speedway, all in Wisconsin. That's going to be... Beaver Dam on Saturday and Angel Park Speedway on Sunday. So a full weekend up there.
This is a family show. Shouldn't that be Beaver Darn?
Nope. D-A-M-N. No, I mean D-A-M. The other one.
Gotcha, Scott.
Yeah, my God, it's late. We need to finish this up. Kubota High Limit Racing Series in action with the Roto-Rooter Mid-Series National, or Eagle National, the Eagle Speedway in Eagle, Nebraska. That's going to be on Tuesday. Dirt Car Summer Nationals already.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be getting going here. The Brownstown Bull Ring in Brownstown, Illinois, starting on Tuesday.
Wow.
Then Kankakee Speedway in Illinois, and then Peoria Speedway, Kankakee on Wednesday, Peoria on Thursday night. So Summer Nationals getting things going. Arca Menard Series up at MIS this weekend. That's Friday night. Tomorrow night, 5 o'clock, that race will be on Fox Sports 2, FS2. That's the Henry Ford Health 200 at Michigan International Speedway. Craftsman Truck And for some reason, we just popped off again. I don't know why.
Oh, here we are. We're back.
Yeah. It's like it booted us out. It's like, you guys are taking too long. Where was I? Oh, the DQS Solution Staffing 250 at Michigan International Speedway for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. That'll be Saturday at noon. That'll actually be on Fox.
Ooh.
Yeah. Then the Cup Series, Firekeepers Casino 400 at Michigan International Speedway on Sunday. That'll start at 2 p.m. and be on Amazon Prime. And that is your
Weekend.
DCR Graphics weekend race menu. Something like that. Again, reaching out for sponsors for the Oakshade Chris Mize Memorial Hot Dog Race races. Like you said, we want to have 4 of them, one for each class at Oakshade. Probably sometime in August. Just looking for something to give away. It doesn't have to be a big thing or
probably
anything.
split it up. They probably won't all be on the same night.
No, because that'd be kind of a lot, though. So, yes. John Young does plan on going. So, Congratulations, John. We'll get you. You'll be on the list. Just go up to the box office there and tell them,
say, hey,
you won the tickets on Hammer Down Racing Report.
I'm John Young.
I'm John Young. You let me in. Nothing else needs to be said. So, yeah, if you're interested in helping out, somehow sponsoring the Chris Mize Memorial Hot Dog Race, and by sponsor, I just mean providing some prize for each of those 4 races. A pizza. It doesn't have to be anything huge. That'll be cool. Just shoot us an email, hammerdownracingreport@outlook.com, or send us a message on Facebook or whatever. Call the Hammer Down hotline.
Right.
There's all kinds of ways to get a hold of us. We're easy to get a hold of. Thanks to producer Dave Kemmer, contributors John Young, Matt Swander, Bob Stazak. Make sure to like us on Facebook. Follow us on X at Hammer Report. That way you can get up.
Hashtag DCR.
We're not doing any hashtag DCR. Next week, we're going to bring back the hashtag DCR.
Okay.
Yeah. Where was I? Oh, follow us on X at Hammer Report. That way you can take part in our Twitter polls, or X polls, I guess.
Right.
Follow us on YouTube. Listen, even if you don't plan on watching us, and if you're a Facebook watcher, if you go to YouTube and follow us, it just helps us. We appreciate it. It just takes like a couple clicks to get there. Listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Always check us out, hammerdownracereport.com. You can listen to the shows right there on the website. And also, if you're part of the Hammer Down Army, you submit your results there just under the Hammer Down Army tag. Thanks to our sponsors, Oakshade Raceway, Ron Miller Race Cars, Magic Moment Entertainment, Dittman Motorsports, Dominator Race Products, DCR Graphics, and Freeze Frame Photos. Thanks to our guests this week, Craig Mintz and Devin Shiels. Working on a couple things for next week. I'm not even going to mention it because we were supposed to have Dylan on this week. Dylan Nussbaum, who unfortunately had something come up, had a wedding come up that he forgot about. So we'll get him on sometime in the future here. Modified driver there.
It was a surprise wedding.
He probably forgot about it. Well, I'm sure it was one I hope it's not a family. I'm just going to stop talking now. We'll see you next Thursday at 7 o'clock. That is a wrap on show number 381 of the Hammer Down
Racing Report.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report, available on demand on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform.